Assassin's Creed Victory has been leaked by Kotaku in the past hour or so. Not really sure how this happened. They seem to have been given a demo by Ubisoft, but
are also following up with Ubisoft.
yeah. So therefore, we've I think gotten in contact as well to see if they're going to talk about this stuff. Nobody knows when this was going to be announced. Maybe at the VGAs this weekend.
That seems like a solid bet.
Could have been, yeah. So apparently there's a straight up trailer for this. Kotaku don't have the trailer, but they've got a bunch of screenshots.
Yeah, they described it as like a as like a gameplay target video of this is what it should be like,
right,
you know.
yeah.
So they sort of produced that as this is what we're aiming for. And right here you're seeing a screenshot of one of the new gadgets they showed off, the grappling hook.
Yeah, so this apparently is in Charing Cross Station, which would be a relatively big or well-known area in London.
And a big interior space, so you have a place to put that grappling hook.
They said the vehicle combat stuff as well was sort of new gameplay additions they were bringing to it, but it's kind of hard to judge where this, there seems to be those two Assassin's Creed games, those one that break through and everyone loves, and then the sort of middling ones, and I'm not really sure what we got this year. Peter, you're pretty frustrated with just the sheer amount of them that are coming out at the moment.
I mean, we live in a cycle of marketing in this industry, and Assassin's Creed is one of those titles that is marketed so heavily all year round because there's always a game on the horizon. They're always announcing a new one. It's always there. I'm just tired of seeing these games. People I know who love the series are tired of playing it. I'm not really sure who really wants more of these. Obviously, there are people buying them, but the whole the cloud of noise around me is basically saying, "Boo! Why?" And I share that sentiment. I can't get excited for it.
Unity had its fair share of launch issues as well. We can be pretty picky when it comes to bugs in games at launch, but Unity, it seemed, was definitely perhaps something that was pushed out just a little bit too early.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the things that really contributes to this kind of fatigue that people get, that Peter describes, is when the game comes out and when it's not even, 100%, or, no game's going to be 100% bug-free, but reasonably bug-free, that, the majority, many users are reporting those issues. When that comes out, when it's you could have used a few more months on this, it just kind of it just sort of sheds light on the damaging sort of aspects of this crazy fast cycle. It's worth noting that Assassin's Creed Victory is the first game that the lead is studio, sort of first mainline Assassin's Creed game that the lead is, their Quebec studio, not their Montreal studio. I'm not sure if that's gonna, have any sort of notable effect in terms of have they had more time to work on it, so it'll be more polished, or are there gonna be, the grappling hook and the vehicle combat, is that gonna somehow make running through the city feel different? Even though it's, when was the Victorian-era, 1800s? So this is within 100 years of the Unity that just came out. Really, the timing of this coming out, I think, is not optimal. Your games have been out for less than a month.
Yeah.
The story should be about them, and I don't know, what's the motivation? Is it, hey guys, we got another one coming, so if you got problems with that one, there's another one on the horizon, or let's change the narrative so people are excited about. And it gets you thinking about all these things that aren't the game. And when a game is announced, you should be thinking about the game and what's interesting about it, not about the marketing cycle and not about, the development cycle necessarily, but when the circumstances conspire to be like this, you can't help but think about it.
It's a bit weird. Who knows? Maybe they were going to release this in 2015. This information and the trailer and whatnot. The Quebec stuff is interesting because that studio's been around for a long time, but they've mostly concentrated on sort of support for games like Watch Dogs. I know they were helping with AC3. They've done a lot of mobile stuff as well. So maybe this is you never know when a studio finally gets its chance at something. At releasing one of the sort of AAA games on their own. Maybe that's when they pick up the mantle and say, all right, we're going to make this our own and do something interesting with it. I'm kind of interested in a Victorian-era London one, but then I'm probably one of those people who love that series, but I'm definitely getting overkill.
And if people are tired, and if this is the studio's chance to finally take something and run with it, what a crappy opportunity, because people are tired of that series. Maybe they're not going to latch onto it, because the average person doesn't know who's making this game, and that maybe it's going to be this fresh take. And if I'm honest, Ubisoft announced Beyond Good and Evil 2 a hell of a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would be so excited to hear about that game, something brand new and interesting, versus another game that was
a sequel at least that's very far from its original source material.
Yeah, I mean, well, something that's, yes, relative to the last Assassin's Creed, and it's relative to the last Beyond Good and Evil, but yeah, it's
You're saying you want a new Ubisoft game that's interesting and a new franchise?
No, not a new franchise. Beyond Good and Evil.
Well, then
is a
you
thing.
should stay watching the lobby because we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with the crew, a game that Peter is in fact reviewing.